Hello and welcome to Metal Vice, a podcast where we talk about all things music.
Well, the things we care about.
That's right, which is mainly metal music and live music. I'm one of your hosts, Brian, joined with your other host,
Karen.
Karen, what is today's topic going to be about?
The Alestorm show at the Rave in Milwaukee.
Yes, this was part of their Tour of the Dead Mermaid 2024 tour. We saw them in 2023.
It's Tour of the Dead Marauder.
Is that not Mermaid?
Nope.
Oh, well, I see that and I say Mermaid. Every time I've seen that and I say Mermaid.
Marauder.
All right, Marauder. Mermaid's better. Mermaid's so much better.
It is better, but
What the fuck? Yeah, no. Change your name. You got so close.
maybe
Anywho,
they've already done Tour of the Dead Mermaid.
maybe they did. I don't know. I'm still
hoodles.
going to call this the Tour of the Dead Mermaid, but it is Marauder.
Yes.
That is the official, proper, correct, non-dyslexic name to that.
It's okay.
We saw them last year for the first time here in Chicago at
The Vic.
Yes. I went into that show thinking you were not going to like it, but you came out loving it so much and made me so happy because that was such a great show. It may have been one of my top shows last year. I can't remember.
Oh, really?
But it's so much fun. So I was excited to see them again. But this time, who did we have with them?
Glyph?
I think that's how you say that. Yeah.
Glyph. And Elvenking.
Both of them sort of theatrical, powerish metal to some extent.
Yeah.
Glyph definitely power metal. I don't know about
yeah.
Elvenking if they're necessarily classified as power metal or not. I would maybe throw them in that slightly, if not.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
But both definitely thematic in terms of like what their overall style of music and story they're trying to tell is.
Right, yeah.
First time seeing both of these bands
Yep.
as well. We'll get into that, but great time all around. As you pointed out, this was at the Rave. Ticket prices we have are $30 a ticket. Now, a little asterisk here. There's no fees, there's no tax, because when we went up to the Rave for their haunted Christmas sort of tour thing,
Right, yes.
they had in December, because there's not many shows, so they open up the venue. We're going to do a whole like Christmas in July episode, I think, about this, and like a little mini vlog, hopefully, if I can get that shit done. But
We're only a year behind on
yeah,
vlogs.
I don't know. But we'll do a whole thing about the Rave, I think, for Christmas in July. And we went up there and they opened it up and you get to explore the venue. If you've been to the Rave, you're kind of walking around the same areas you've always been to anyway. But the cool things are you get to get on stage and you get to go backstage as well.
Yes.
And see a lot of shit you don't get to see, including the pool. You had told me there was a pool once, and I was like, no, there fucking isn't. There's no way there's a fucking pool here. Where's the pool? But no, there's a pool, and there's signatures all over the places. So this backstage, like the dressing rooms are and everything. Fucking awesome time to go do. Like I said, we're going to do a whole Christmas in July about this, but it was a lot of fun. All that to say, that's when we bought the tickets. I was trying to remember why I brought that up.
This episode is going great.
Yeah, but anyhow, but that's when we bought the tickets, right? We went up there for that, and they were also running a promotion around the holiday time where if you bought, I can't remember if it was like $100 gift cards or certificates, you got $25 in extra gift cards or something like that.
I think so. I think that was the deal. Yeah, but I mean, it started lower. So like, if you got like 50, you got like $10. I don't know.
So it was like a
deal.
staggered thing.
Yeah.
Like, so we did the max of like 100 for 25.
Yeah, because I was like, we spend a shit ton of money there, so let's just buy the gift card and get the free $25 gift card.
But I mean, think about it. Like $100 is one show for two tickets.
Yeah, that's thereabouts.
What I was
Yeah, that's
roughly,
what I was
right?
meaning. Yeah.
So we essentially bought two shows to get into extra money at that point.
Yeah,
$50 extra.
Yeah, that's
basically what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, but I'm just trying to like reiterate, like, it makes sense from like a logical standpoint. Like,
yeah, for us it does. I mean, if you go to one show a year, then it probably doesn't, because you have to use the gift cards by the end of this year.
You do have to use the gift codes by the end of the year. So basically, then it's 3 shows. You have to sort of guarantee yourself that you're going to go to 3 shows, not knowing what's booked, because nothing was really booked at that time outside of Milwaukee Metal Fest.
Yes.
Which we did use those gift cards we bought, or the $100 like coupons we bought to get the extra $100 or $50, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. We bought the $100 gift cards to get the extra $25 gift card. We bought two $100 gift cards to buy Milwaukee Metal Fest tickets or upgrades, like the VIP upgrades.
Yeah, the upgrade, yeah.
So like we knew we were going to buy that anyway. Might as well get some free money, quote unquote, out of this.
Yes.
But it was at that time that we also bought tickets, I think with the leftover money for one of those cards for this show.
Yes.
And we did it right there at the ticket booth. They gave us physical tickets, and it was straight up like $30, like $60 total, or $80 maybe with like the printing fee or something. But no fees, no nothing. It was basically the ticket says $30. About 2 of them, give me $60. I'll give you 2 tickets. So no fees, no nothing else on top of it, which was fucking awesome. I remember walking away and being like, what the fuck? How are there, like, what? If I bought this online, there's fees or whatnot. Mm-hmm. So maybe just go to the box office all the fucking time and buy tickets.
It's not very convenient for us.
It's not being in Chicago, but if it is convenient for you,
yes,
go to the fucking box office, apparently, and save yourself a few bucks here and there.
Yeah. I mean, granted, we could always plan ours like, hey, we're going to Milwaukee Metal Fest, and the show was just announced, so let's buy the ticket then.
Also, another asterisk around this ticket price is the week before the show came, we got in the mail, Rave does this from time to time, where they will send out free tickets, physical, like free tickets. Like, hey, you've been to a show with us before. Here are 4 tickets to go see Alestorm on this date. And I kind of laughed to myself, like, I already bought tickets for this show. They do say on the ticket, though, it's not a guarantee, or not like on the ticket, but in the little flyer they send with it, these tickets are not a guarantee that you will get into the show. It's more of if there's space, you'll get into the show. And we were talking about this a little bit too. Of the show itself was on the second stage, and we were wondering what stage it was going to be on. And part of us thought like it'd be really cool if it was on the ballroom stage, the biggest stage they have there. Second stage being the smallest, not the smallest, but the second, step down. Smallest being the bar stage probably, and then the third, like the middle child there being the
basement.
The basement show, yeah. But we were talking about that in terms of, well, maybe they hope to sell at the ballroom, but if they don't sell at the ballroom, they'll start working their way down stage sizes based on how many tickets they sold. But also give out free tickets because you're going to sell money in terms of booze and stuff. So try to get as many people in there as you can. But we could have gone to this show for free.
Yeah. Theoretically,
because we had planned to come up here for this weekend to see this show. But we bought tickets for $30, and anyway, that's the long story of the price.
Yep, they cost $30.
The long ramble of the price. I don't know. It's fun because I mean, we do track the prices. So if you go back and look at previous rave shows, you'll see fees and tax and whatnot tacked onto our sort of spreadsheet we have. This one doesn't have it because of those sort of, as I said, long-winded asterisks.
Yes.
The only new thing this time around when going to the rave versus the past times we've been into is when we scanned our ticket, we got this little bright yellow piece of paper that tells us no moshing. And we'll throw up maybe like a little screenshot of this or something. No moshing, and then like a whole thing on the back about like, please do not mosh, do spin, surf, or dance. You'll be asked to leave, essentially, if you don't cooperate with these requests. And I remember we both got to the floor, and we're like, what the fuck is this? Is this real or not?
I threw mine away.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I kept mine.
Well, of course you did. You have one.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was funny. I wasn't sure, honestly, if it was a joke or if it was real. I could see it being more of a, this is us taking the extra legal precaution to tell people don't do this. So if you get hurt, it's now your liability. We are completely absolved of any sort of lawsuits against us because we did give this out and we did kick people out type thing. And that was sort of how I approached it or thought about it. But Glyph comes on stage, and instantly, as soon as they come on stage, right next to us, a fucking pit opens.
Yeah.
And nothing happens. People start moshing and having a good time. And I did see this little piece of paper, and I was like, what the fuck? No moshing? For real? This is...
Well, they have no moshing on their website.
They do. And when we walk through one of the doors as well, on the door it says no moshing also. So again, that's why I was just like, this has to be sort of a legal thing more than anything else. Is sort of where I'm at with it.
Possibly. I don't know the background to it, but I thought it was just a joke.
Did you, at the end of the night, just think it was a joke?
Well, no, when I got it, I thought it was a joke.
And even by the end of the night, though, your mind didn't change? Because
No, I didn't. Yeah, I mean, because it says do not mosh, spin, surf, or dance in a way that disturbs other people.
I do like that. Like, do not dance in the way that disturbs other people. Like, if your actions are disturbing somebody else, you will be asked to leave. But at the same time, it's a live concert, so...
Yeah.
Like, what are you expecting? So I can see this being like a joke of like, you're at a live show, your actions might disturb somebody else. That's not your fault. That's their fault for being disturbed by your actions of enjoying music, enjoying yourself.
Yeah, I think most of the time people do pretty well on, if you're moshing, you don't mosh into people who don't want to mosh.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Sometimes you can't help it. You get pushed or something. But,
yeah.
I mean, dancing, I feel like people are pretty kind about it. I don't know. I don't find that people are that rude.
No, I don't either.
So.
But yeah, so like right away when Glyph goes on, moshing right away. And I did see at the end of the set a bunch of these little no moshing signs thrown in the middle of the pit.
Oh, really?
Just on the ground. But before we get super far into their set, why don't we just talk about their set list real quick? What did we have?
So they started with Honor, Power, Glory, A Storm of Crimson Fire, Glorious, When the World Was Young, Defy the Night, and then they ended with Volorad. I'm not sure if I said that last one right, but
yeah, I'm not sure. I think that's about right.
They'll put it up on the screen.
Yeah.
So.
Not knowing anything about this band going into it, it felt very Glory Hammer-ish to me. In terms of, like, Glory Hammer was sort of this, like, space age. Like, we came to Earth, crashed on Earth, but then it turns out we didn't crash on Earth. It was sort of a post-apocalyptic world type thing.
I guess I forgot about that with Glory Hammer, but
it's all sort of like
the same.
In this world they created for themselves.
Yeah.
And then this was the same way where Glory Hammer was this post-apocalyptic, this was aliens coming to Earth type thing. But still sort of that same thematic sort of, we're developing a universe and we're going to sing about this universe that we're in. A lot of fun, a lot of great like energy really on the stage, great energy in the crowd. The crowd fucking knew what the fuck was going on, like instantly. Again, we went in not knowing anything about this band or their music. We were clearly in the minority when that happened.
Totally. Yeah, I was surprised on how heavy and power, like it definitely is the power metal, but like how heavy it was and how quick or how fast it was and everything. And then just when they announced that they had only played 8 live shows, I could not believe that because they almost put on like a headlining show.
Yeah, it was weird that
like,
they had mentioned just 8 shows.
Yeah, they have such a good stage presence that I would never have guessed that they only had 8 shows.
I would not either. I mean, they must have been, like, these members were, I'm assuming, were in other bands before this. This isn't their first go-around in terms of touring and what to expect and whatnot, is my guess. We haven't done any research since then. I just remember loving this band and everything.
Yeah.
They mentioned they first announced the band forming at a different festival last year, 2023.
Yeah, you caught that. I didn't catch. You mentioned that, and I didn't catch what they said.
I can't remember what it was. I think it was like Power Fest or something. It sounds like it was in. They said they were going back, and I think they said it was in Madison, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Which I kind of remember seeing a festival around Madison, Wisconsin. I just can't remember the name of it or the bands that are part of it. But they had mentioned like, hey, we're gonna become a band there. And then they only 8 shows since then, as you had said. Was this also the day like their album came out?
Yeah. So they said it was the album release party.
Yeah, I remember that. That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what song it was. It wasn't Glorious. Maybe it was When the World Was Young. But they had mentioned like we're gonna film a video for this song here.
It was in the middle, so it was either Glorious or When the World Was Young. I just can't remember.
Yeah, and they only played 6 songs, but it felt so much longer.
It did feel. I mean, not long in a bad way, but it did feel like it was a lot longer than that.
Good, like you said, good crowd interaction, good banter. Like it was a good like you said, it felt like a sort of headlining set almost. A band I'd definitely love to see again.
Yeah, it'd be fun to see them again. Yeah.
See a longer set, maybe after like the next album or something, or multiple albums coming out where they have more content in their library. But I remember seeing this and thinking of Glory Hammer and being like, oh, okay, so this is gonna be a great fucking time.
Yeah, I figured from the imagery that it was gonna be similar to when we saw Alestorm at the Vic, where it's like mythical night. I don't know if that's the right word to say it, but like.
The only difference there is their first opener at that show wasn't really a thematic. I didn't feel like they were very thematical in terms of like, we're going to pick a world building aspect to their band.
No, but it was the like Western movie type band.
Was it? I don't know. Spirit World?
Spirit World.
That was not them. That was with Crater.
Oh.
Yeah, just quickly looked it up. The last time we saw Alestorm, it was Luthro, Gloryhammer, and Alestorm, where Gloryhammer and Alestorm sort of like fit that sort of world building aspect. Luthro was just sort of a great metal band overall.
Yeah. Not with the mythical theme.
Yeah.
I guess in my mind, Gloryhammer and Alestorm just kind of took the night last year, so that's what I remember.
I remember Luthro, and they were really great.
Yeah.
But this feels better, I think, with this sort of theme, theme overall of like everybody has their own sort of character they're sort of building and whatnot. Sure. In any case, I love Glyph, and I don't know if I'm saying that right or not.
I think we've said it like 4 different times.
We probably have. Glyph. I like this. I can't wait to see him again, honestly. It was a lot of fun. And, I mean, after the show, after their performance, they were back at the merch table like all night long.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
All the sets, signing shit, hanging out with people, taking photos. It was a great band, just sort of down-to-earth people from our sense. We didn't really interact with any of them, but yeah.
I know. I again thought like, I should, when I was in line, I like, go say good job.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm so bad.
We were pretty close to the stage for them, too, for their performance. And part of that was when we got in, the line for the merch, for the Alestorm merch, was fucking insanely long.
Yeah. It was long almost all night until they went online. Or online, on stage.
Yeah, because I was standing there. You went and got merch while they were getting set up for their stage.
But it was almost, there was like not that many people.
But even after the show, then it got long again. It was. I was shocked how long the line was, like all night long, and how it stayed long all night long. But Glyph, not necessarily. At the end of the night, there were a lot of people gathered around, hanging out with them, taking photos and shit, and getting shit signed. But yeah, it was a great show, great set from them, definitely. Next, we get Elvenking, another first for us seeing this band, and another really great show. I really enjoyed their set. We did leave to go to the restroom and get another beer and whatnot, and by that time, the crowd had sort of condensed in, and we didn't really want to fight. So we ended up hanging back by the sound stage for this particular set.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
I thought.
Why don't you read off the set list before we get super deep into it?
Sure. They start with Rapture, The Hanging Tree, Dragon's Maelstrom, Pagan Revolution, Silver Seal, Moonbeam Stone Circle, Pagan Purity, Bride of Nights, The One We Shall Follow, The Wanderer, The Divided Heart. They ended with Elven Legions. I'm going to be honest. For some reason, I don't remember their set all that much. Well, maybe if you say something, it'll ring a bell. I remember like standing there and like watching the soundstage a lot and then watching them a lot.
So in the middle of their set, we did look back and see like, oh, I think the merch line is died down. So I went back to try to get merch for Alestorm.
Oh.
And
I knew it didn't die. I think I told you it didn't die.
Well, I couldn't, like, we weren't really, it's loud, so we weren't going to, like, shout and whatnot. It's sort of like hand communication and nodding, and that doesn't really work all that well at times. But I thought I told you, like, I don't think it's died down. And then I look back at it and I look at you, and I see you, like, do something with your head, like, back and forth. And I was like, well, and I looked again. It's like, well, maybe it has died down. I nodded my head, like, yeah, let me go look. But no, people had turned 90 degrees to face the stage while they stood in line so they could watch the performance while standing in line. So I get back there, I ask, like, is this the Alestorm line? And like, yep, it goes all the way fucking back there, out to the bar and around. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to go get a shirt from that first band. Yeah, so I'll be back. Ended up going to Elvenking's stand. And deep down, I think I knew I went to the wrong. Like, I wanted to go to get a Glyph shirt, but I think I ended up going to Elvenking because the Glyph artists were back there, and it's like, I don't want to really interact with you, so I'm going to go over here where this guy doesn't look like he was on stage. He looks like a new person to me. So I got a tour shirt from Elvenking. And I remember asking him, I've been trying to do this more often, of asking people if the venue takes merch cuts. And I asked him, expecting him to say, no, the venue does not take merch cuts. But I was shocked when he said, yes, the rave takes merch cuts. But he followed up instantly with, but this is the first time I'm okay with it. And I was like, oh, okay, why? And he's like, we showed up here and the staff is fucking phenomenal. The people are amazing to us. They have all hands on deck. If you need anything, they're getting you anything you need. They're super helpful. They're just amazing people all around. And then he's like, this is also the cheapest venue we've been to. They're only taking 10%. Everybody else takes at least 20. And he was also saying like he was at a venue a little while before this show, and they like checked him in, checked him out, which I only assume means either checking his inventory or checking like a drawer, like count your money in a drawer and like make sure it all balances out at the end of the night and give us our 20% type thing.
Yeah.
But super fucking awesome, like just conversation with this guy about the merch cuts, and he's like, I hate merch cuts. I don't think they're great, but this venue is so awesome that it's sort of like it sucks, but it could have been a lot fucking worse, and these people are amazing. So it was awesome to hear. We've always talked about the Rave, like it's one of my favorite venues, one of our favorite venues.
Yeah, we like it.
And just hearing like from band's perspective as well, like, yeah, like we also think it's awesome, at least from this one interaction with this one individual with a band.
But I've heard that a lot before. Like bands will request to play the Rave.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, yeah.
I have not heard that. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that they really, really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. I'm glad. I hope they keep doing it, especially as Live Nation builds this new like multi-building or like 3-story, I think it's 4 venue.
They're probably trying to compete with the Rave. So whatever.
Yeah, it's gonna be over by the stadium. They had the Pfizer Forum, but the thing's supposed to be like 3 or 4 stories with 3 or 4 stages as well.
Yeah.
Which does sound a lot like the Rave, honestly.
Yeah.
Which hopefully when that gets done, nothing drastically bad happens to the Rave. Honestly, I love the Rave so much.
I haven't heard much about that. I know that it passed.
Yeah.
But other than that, I haven't heard anything of.
It's probably going to be still under construction because they're doing a bunch of work over there.
But like, I mean, we were just over there this trip, and I don't remember seeing a building going up or anything. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it gets shut down or petitioned to not.
Maybe.
I don't know.
In any case, though, I did end up walking back to you, and like you, I spent a lot of the night watching the sound girl, the light girl.
Yes. We have a video of it. Let's put the video in.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah. But the sound or the lights were completely manual. So when they flicker, she's literally going like this with her fingers.
So we were at Between the Buried and Me, like not even a week before this.
Yeah.
And the light engineer at that show, the board they had was this sort of, it's a newer board. You just hit a button and it all felt very preset. You just had to hit a button to start like the programming, and then you could adjust the lights and adjust as you needed to like fit the venue and whatnot was going on. But for the most part, it was sort of preset. Watching this particular individual for Alestorm and Elvenking, and I'm assuming she also did.
Yeah, sure.
So I don't know if she's with the band or with the Rave itself, because she did also have sort of printouts of this is the band with things highlighted of like at this point do this, at this point do this type thing.
I thought I saw her during Milwaukee Metal Fest, so I
maybe
think she's with the Rave.
The Rave.
I mean, I don't know. We'll have to look when we go back.
Yeah, so I don't know. But she definitely had like a printout, and she for Elvenking, she had like her phone. She was like trying to figure out where to set her phone to like follow the guidelines and whatnot, I'm assuming. But there were sort of icons on her board as well where she'd hit, and I think that would change the lights all to be in a certain color, basically.
Yeah, that's how I was understanding it.
Cool. That's what I thought too. But then, yeah, you're absolutely right where the flickering was her just turning it on, basically on and off, turn off, on. And she's sitting there all night with her fingers going up and down, and down.
Or with one hand just going back
or with one hand, and with the other hand up here changing the lights and whatnot.
Yeah.
And she was fucking into it too, like fucking banging her head and shit. Like, I think
you're saying banging her head. I think she was counting the beats.
Oh, you think that's what she was doing
with the lights? Yes.
Oh,
that's how I was understanding it. It's like because like it was like on, off, on, like counting the beats to the music, so the lights are going with the music.
That makes a lot more sense.
Not
I
like,
thought she was
not
like,
holy shit, I'm having a good time.
I took it as like I took it like that.
No, I think she was. I understand where you're coming from, but I think she was counting the beats so that the lights would flicker when the beats were happening.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense because that's where I was like, she has to be with the band because she knows the music and she's up there like banging her head.
Yeah, no, I
to
think
the
she's
music
kind of
and
like the
enjoying
drum
music.
beat or like the bass beats or the drum beats.
But it makes more sense for the beats. I didn't even think about that. Like I just took it as like she fucking loves this music. That's awesome. But then why do you need the printout if you're following the band? Because I don't know. Yeah. All right. That makes a lot more sense now. I think you're 100% right, and I'm clearly wrong. I just thought she was fucking into it and like just enjoying herself, having a great time.
Yeah.
But no, I honestly, for Elven King, most of my night was watching her and just like the turning the lights on and understanding that aspect.
So that just came to mind that I remember, and I think it's only during the first song, but the vocalist comes out with like antlers on his head. Do you remember?
Oh,
that?
like Loki antlers. Yeah.
Or like, not Loki antlers. It was like 2 sets of deer antlers.
It wasn't like the Loki sort of hat with like the...
It was deer antlers that came around as like a crown on his head.
Oh, I don't remember that then. Okay. I don't remember that then.
Yeah, but that's all I remember. And I feel really, really bad. I hate when we just see a show, because this was only a couple days ago too. But I don't like when like part of the show just like escapes my mind.
So, I mean, I enjoyed the music. I do remember enjoying the music.
Yeah,
I do remember
too.
enjoying their set quite a bit.
Yeah, I just can't speak to it.
No, I can't either. Because again, most of my attention and focus went to the lights and not the backstage, but like the shit you don't think about when there's a live show. There's so much shit going on, and I found myself focusing on sort of the behind the scenes sort of aspects of the show, like the lights, like the sound. We've talked about this in the past. I like standing and watching sets get torn down in between sets and even after the show, of just all like this army of people coming up and tearing shit apart and moving stuff, because it's kind of choreographed. Like you have to get certain boxes filled first and in the trailer first, and there's a certain procedure of how you do things. So I have always enjoyed watching that aspect of live shows, but it's not something you always think about. And more recently, I've been focusing when we go to live shows on that stuff. And it feels like, I don't want to say it feels like it's because I'm not enjoying the live music, because I am. It's just more of like, okay, this is a live show. I know, like, I don't know what to say. You know what I'm trying to say?
I do understand what you're saying, yeah.
But I do remember Elven King. I do remember really liking their set. There was toward the end where I was like, is this like a co-headlining show? This goes on for a long time.
Because they played for like a whole hour probably.
Yeah, they played 12 songs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
but I don't think it was. I don't think it was listed as a co-headlining because it was like Alestorm was supporting acts.
Yeah, I thought so too. But it felt very long.
Yeah.
Much longer than Glyph for sure.
Yeah.
I wish Glyph maybe had more time. Like maybe take a couple of songs from, like, 10 minutes or so from these folks and give them to Glyph. But this one definitely did feel a little bit long to me.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think of it. I don't think you're saying it, but I didn't think of it long as in any way that it was long. Or, like, not in a bad way that it was long.
Yeah.
Just it's longer than a normal.
Yeah, and I guess that's what I mean. I don't want to think
set.
of it long as a bad sort of long, but definitely long. But just sort of like reiterating what you said, there was not a whole lot I remember from their set. And it was just a couple days ago, which is really bad.
Yeah. I know that there's been a few bands like this where it's like, yeah, I don't remember anything happening.
I don't have anything bad to say by any means whatsoever.
Yeah, I know I couldn't see most of it.
That was one thing. We were in the back, and you definitely couldn't see a whole lot of it.
Yeah,
for sure.
I got distracted by the people in front of us too.
Oh, they were doing the photo thing and chatting amongst themselves.
Yeah, which I don't understand. Why would you pay money to go to a show and then just sit on your phone
and then chat the entire time?
Yeah.
I do hate the chitter chatter. Like, I don't get that either. Like, these tickets aren't. I mean, I guess they were free. So for some folks, they were free. Yeah,
but yeah. Anyways, I don't want to. Every single episode can't be about us complaining about people. So.
But I mean, it can if people don't shut the fuck up.
I know, but.
No, I know.
Nobody's gonna.
I have noticed. I have noticed like the chitter chatter aspect of a show, I think is at all the shows. It just matters on where you're at. If you're right next to somebody.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
But if you're 10 feet away from that somebody
who
is that same chitter chatter, you're not going to hear it. But if you're right next to that person, again, being right next to that person sucks fucking ass. Like,
yeah,
just shut the fuck up.
But also sometimes, well, except for that's when they start yelling. I was going to say it depends on how loud the music is also. But then they do start yelling. And I so badly want to be like, do you understand why you're yelling? Because there's fucking music playing. Like, shut up.
Right. But yeah.
Anyways. They left before Alestorm, so.
They did leave, and then Alestorm came on. Yes. That's the next band, exactly. Same sound woman, or lighting tech.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think there was a crew member on the soundboard.
There was a crew member on the soundboard, and I do remember him turning around being like, all right, so at this point in the stage, the lights need to do this, and having like a little conversation back and forth in terms of like, this is how we want the show to go, and this is at this particular moment, like we need this effect to happen to have the full effect of what the show needs to do, which again is a very interesting component of live shows to me, of like how things are sort of arranged and organized, and the lights and all of it together makes up the live performance. And if one thing fails, you can kind of ruin the overall performance potentially. I don't know. That whole aspect of things I really, really enjoy and want to know more about and experience more of. But we were there, we saw Alestorm. So it was an awesome set. Why don't you tell us what we got for their set list?
Sure. So they started with Keelhauled, No Grave But the Sea, The Sunken Norwegian, Alestorm, Under Blackened Banners, Hangover, Uzbekistan, Wenches and Mead, Magellan's Expedition, Mexico, Voyage of the Dead Marauder.
Not Mermaid?
No, Marauder. I know I'm not saying it right because there's 2 R's and I can't do that. Then we get the Bob the Builder song, Big Ship, Little Ship, Nancy the Tavern Wench, Rumple Combo, P.A.R.T.Y.
Party.
1741, The Battle of Cartagena, Shitboat, No Fans, and then their encore was Drink, Zombies Ate My Pirate Ship, and Fucked with an Anchor. And unfortunately, I had to wait 18 songs to get one that I wanted to hear.
Really? You didn't like any of those other ones?
No, I do like them, but those are the ones that I know. The Drink and then Fucked with an Anchor are the 2 songs that like I know.
Gotcha. Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So.
They're the ones you listen to the most or know the most.
The ones that you've listened to the most.
See, that's the thing. Keelhauled I listen to all the time. I love Keelhauled.
Yeah, I remember when they started with that. Yeah.
And then,
I just don't know the words or anything. To
it, gotcha. Okay.
Where Drink and Fucked with an Anchor,
you do know.
I know those.
Big Ship, Little Ship. They did mention during that, like, we're gonna do a Bob the Builder song, and like people got super excited. I didn't realize that was a Bob the Builder song.
I don't know Bob the Builder.
I don't either, but I do remember like.
Can he fix it? Yes, he can. That's all I know.
We will fix it or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
The one thing I will say from the very beginning all the way to the end, even with that Bob the Builder song of like, we will fix it or yes we can or whatever the fuck the saying is, the crowd was fucking phenomenal. Not only for Alestorm, but all night long. The crowd was fucking awesome. But Alestorm in particular, the singing, like there were times where they were singing louder than Alestorm was, which was fucking awesome. I love that so much. We saw, like I said, Alestorm the year before here in Chicago at the Vic. I think this show was much better, in all honesty, than it was at the Vic.
Sure.
From like a crowd perspective, like just the crowd being into it and singing.
I thought the crowd was really into it at the Vic too.
See,
I remember that.
I guess it's fading. I remember being, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just fading because it's like a year older now or whatnot.
Yeah,
but
I'm really happy that the show was different than at the Vic because I was kind of worried since they were so close together that they would be like the same show and the same bits and like all that stuff. And I felt like it was a very different show.
I did too. I haven't looked at the set list from that show to see how different it was, but their set list was definitely different for sure. There was also the bit that you were talking about, the bits being different. There was a bit in Chicago that they did, and they even brought it on stage in Chicago. And they're like, yeah, so we tried this 2 or 3 nights ago. It sucks. We hate it. We're not doing it ever again, but we're going to do it for you one more time. Where they taped like a a spigot, like
Yeah.
a watering can on somebody's head
Yeah.
full of wine, and walked around the stage like feeding each other with wine from this thing, just getting sprayed in the face with wine. I was kind of hoping that would come out here too, but apparently they hated it enough for like that. No, we're not fucking doing this shit no more. Yeah, I don't know. I had a great time. Like again, this was like what I said with that last show we saw, where it's metal music, but it's not like life changing. Like it's not gonna make you think. It's like it's a popcorn movie. I'm gonna zone out. I'm not gonna learn anything. I'm just here to have fun, not to think.
Yeah.
And not to say like when you go to a metal concert you're there to think, but sometimes like the lyrics to the song are sort of intended to make you feel something or think something. Like especially those deeper ballady type songs. Right. This is more of like fuck you.
Yeah,
fuck you with an anchor.
They have no slow songs that they played anyways.
I think they had one.
What was
slow-ish song. I can't remember, but there was one slower song.
I guess I don't remember any like ballad type songs. I don't remember that.
I do remember one. I just don't know what song it was.
Oh, okay. But I get what you're saying with the whole like not thinking, and maybe that's not the wrong way, but like how I would put it is there's a lot of metal shows is like getting the aggression out or something like that, and this is more just like if you're moshing or whatever, it's more fun. Like I remember earlier in the show when we were closer to the pit, like the moshing, there was moshing like normal, but then a lot of it was just like running with each other in a circle, like
well, there was a circle pit going on and a couple like with arms locked dancing in their own little circle in the middle of the pit, and then other people just sort of just dancing and having a good time. Like
I guess what I'm trying to say is like I remember like people like it was like a circle pit, but they were like what's that called, like skipping
skipping
for the circle pit, like so it was more fun than it is like, oh my gosh, this is such a heavy song, let's get all our aggression out.
I guess that's a good way to put it too. I didn't think about it in terms of like aggression. Like I'm pissed off, work sucks. This is my way to sort of like stress relief and come and do like a group therapy sort of session, where this is more of like, fuck it. I'm here to have fun. You're here to have fun. Let's have a blast. Like let's not worry about anything. Like let the world dissipate away and we're just going to sit here and like have a great fucking time.
Yeah, which could be said for other metal shows
well,
as
that's
well.
what I'm saying. Like, you do go to metal shows because it's a great time. This is just a different sort of, like...
It's just a different vibe.
And then that's where I was trying to, like, equate it to, like, movies. Like, you're going to watch The Avengers to be like, all right, this is a great movie. I enjoyed it. I had fun. I went in, enjoyed the movie. But then you go to see something like Oppenheimer or something where it's like, oh, I'm going to take something away from this. To me, most metal shows are on that Oppenheimer sort of range. This is more of the comical sort of...
Oh, yeah, definitely comical. Yeah.
Comical sort of cartoony, but fun. Sort of like, we're still the same thing. We're still in the movie theater. We're still having a lot of fun. This is just a different experience all around. And that's what I'm having a hard time articulating what I'm feeling, you know what I mean? But the experience with an Alestorm show is vastly different from my mind than like a Lamb of God show.
Oh, yeah.
Not different, worse, different, better, just different. Both are a great experience. I love going to both. I'd go to both any night of the week. Like, if one was in town tonight and one was in town tomorrow, I'd go see both. And then if the other one, like Lamb of God's in town tonight, I'd go see that. Alestorm's in town tomorrow night, I'd go see that. Lamb of God's in town 2 nights from now, let's go do that. If they're just in town every other fucking night, we're going to every other fucking show to see these guys, right?
Yeah. Now, if Lamb of God and Alestorm are on the same exact night and their tickets go on sale at the same exact time, what are you choosing?
Lamb of God.
Yeah, Lamb of God. Totally. 100%.
It's a lot more of what I want, I guess.
Yeah.
But this is definitely a good change of pace.
I had, and I, like, in my brain, by the end of the night, like I said, I had to wait 18 songs until getting to a song that I know, like, I know the words to. I know, like, P.A.R.T.Y. I remember these songs from last year and, like, listening to them when you listen to them and stuff. But by the end of the night, it almost seemed like I was just kind of tired of the same music because all 3 bands kind of had the same type of music or same sound, which you've said that a lot about like metalcore shows, or I'm sometimes that way during like thrash shows, depending on who they are, that sort of thing, where it's just like okay, I want something a little different now.
See, we talked about that. I think we even talked about it on the way back to the hotel after this show.
Possibly.
Of all three bands sort of having that world building aspect to their band.
And the music sounds the same, too.
The music does sound very similar, sure. But it's all very similar. All very, like, the same music over and over and over and over. Which can be fun, like, a good time, right? But I also like the diversity in music as well. When you go to a show and it's like you get a doom band followed by a deathcore band followed by a progressive band followed by a new metal thrash band, right?
Okay, the Trivium show that we saw.
Right, yeah, exactly. Something like that, right? Where it's you get so many different styles of music all in one. Or even like the 68 show was a bit different as well. Like 68, you got like the classic sort of rocky sound, a little punk to it. Then you got the Callous Cowboys with a lot more punk aspect to it. And then you got
a stand-up comedian.
Great musician as well. Like,
yeah, he wasn't a stand-up comedian. I shouldn't say it that way. Just it reminded me of a stand-up comedian a lot.
Right, with
music.
With the Homeless Gospel Choir or Derek Zanetti.
Yeah.
So again, like that show itself also very diverse, which was a lot of fun that you get so much different things. But in one aspect, I love that. In another aspect, I want the same thing all night long, every night.
Yeah.
This show I liked a lot better. I liked this show better than I did the first time we saw Alestorm, and from an overall concert perspective going.
Oh, okay.
Because you had all three bands that were identical. With that first time we saw Alestorm, it was Alestorm, Gloryhammer, which are in that same boat. Then you have Lutharo, who is something a little bit different, where then you get 2/3 of it in one direction. Like either commit to everything being identical or commit to everything being unique, I would say. So I did enjoy it this time better. It felt like it felt better thematically all night long. But I get what you're saying. And we even talked, like I said, we talked about that, I think, on the way back to the hotel. Of like,
yeah, I remember that conversation.
Yeah. So I get what you're saying. And especially by the end of the night, I kind of felt that same way towards the middle of Alestorm's set, where there are a bunch of songs I honestly did not know.
Oh, yeah.
Where it was like, all right. But P.A.R.T.Y comes on, and it's like, all right, let's have fun.
So I think that's part of it is like, even if you listen to a band and you know their music, and then it gets to the point where, oh, these are songs on an album I don't listen to, or, something like that, then it is kind of a lull in the show sometimes.
Yeah. But, then we get to the encore, drink, zombie ate my pirate ship, and fucked with an anchor. And, like, those are Killhold I could see on there, but they open their set with Killhold. And we've talked about this before with other bands being like, wow, that's weird that they opened with that song. I kind of felt that way with Killhold.
It gets that. It's definitely Alestorm sound, and it gets the night going.
It does. It gets you motivated and gets your energy going for sure. So, I mean, again, we've talked about this with other bands. Like, oh, it feels weird it's up there, but at the same time, that sets the stage for the night, so it makes perfect sense why that's number one. All in all, though, I did really, really like this set. I spent a lot more time, again, watching the light engineer as well.
I watched the crowd a lot. The pit. Oh, that was the other thing. Sorry. I said the pit, and I honestly remembered. And I don't know what song it's in, but they did the whole row that Mart does.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember what song it was, but that kind of, Oh, that was a little bit slower song. That was during that slower song. Yeah. And now it's all coming back to me.
And you're saying because it's Amon Amarth's tradition being picked up by other bands using that same tradition.
Yeah.
We should do a 666 on this because I have mixed feelings on this.
I do too, but
I had no problem with
I feel like it's such a newer tradition. It's not like... So, yeah, the whole 666, we'll talk about this too, but it's not like bands using the Wall of Death because that's been going on for 20 years. Or longer, possibly. I don't really know. I'm just making up a number. But, like, the row is fairly new. It's almost thing. They have the song, put your back into the oar. I don't know. It's just kind of... And the music's totally different. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't like... I understand this is metal-ish, metal adjacent, but it's like, I don't like other genres stealing things that are...
We'll do a 666 on this and talk about it. Yeah. I had no problem with the row at all, but we'll dive deeper into that, I think, during a 666. But you also said you didn't watch the light engineer as much during this episode, or during this
This episode.
during this set. The one thing I forgot to mention is while she was awesome, while the lights were awesome, I thought the lights were actually pretty fucking awesome. We were standing in the right spot or the wrong spot where the lights hit us like directly in the eyes. So I spent a lot of Elvenking in particular watching the ground because it was fucking with my mind, like not my mind, my eyes. And like if I kept watching, it was going to give me a migraine. So I had to like close my eyes and like stare at the ground to like avoid getting just like belted.
Yeah.
And again, that's just, I think, where we were standing. If we had been further forward or further back.
Well, we couldn't go any further back.
We couldn't go any further back, but yeah. But if we had been further forward,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been as effective in terms of
I get what
fucking
you're
with
saying.
my eyes.
Yeah.
Alestorm was better because of the giant fucking duck blocking a lot of it.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say the tall guy in front of you.
Also that
I saw you like
I did duck behind his head a couple times.
You're like ducking, so you're behind him.
I did do that a couple times, but
that was funny. But I guess you wouldn't say like the giant fucking guy in front of me. So the duck
maybe,
makes sense.
but the duck was fucking awesome, and the crowd just as the duck's getting blown up, they're just chanting duck, 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 and then as soon as it like gets fully blown, like they just that was awesome. All in all,
this episode was all over the place, but
it was. Who knows if we'll post it, if it's going to be an encore or just an extra like filler episode, but because we've already done Alestorm.
Yeah, we already have. Yeah,
but we haven't done the other two bands, and I want to give them some credit as well.
Yeah,
because they put on amazing sets.
We'll probably post this. Yeah.
And like I had a great time all night long. I want to see all these bands again. I had a great time.
Me too.
And it was live music, so like of course we're gonna have a great time. Live music is fucking awesome. You should go out, check out live music, whatever it is, big shows, small shows, whatever the fuck you go check out. Go check out live music. Live music is fucking awesome.
Bye.